here, chapter 12, the hard sell. This is going to be a tricky one, interesting one. Okay, so who wants to go first?
I don't mind going first.
Okay, Blanca. Okay.
So it's on page 127, where it says the formula for hard sell, 1 and 2. I don't know if this one works. Okay. So it says if there are only two things that can get you to the point of being a true professional hard sell closer. Number 1, you must believe that what you're offering is the right thing for the prospect. Number 2, you must be trained to stay in the close no matter what happens. You'll need to be armed with an arsenal of ways to handle stalls, emotions, reactions, and objections. And then he goes into his page or whatever.
Oh, do you like that one?
It's pretty much the whole book. So on the first 2 pages, he pretty much summarizes that. So I just feel like once you believe on what you're saying, it's easier for you to make them believe it too. Like, so by saying we're the best, you say it so much to yourself that you believe it. And then when you say it to someone else, you say it with more enthusiasm. So then it makes them believe it too.
Yeah. What's the opposite when you're like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, the opposite's like you don't have no energy, or you
Right.
don't want to be here, or you don't want to do your job.
Or you're thinking like, oh, maybe this isn't the best for them. They should probably get some other insurance company maybe. Like if you're thinking that, then you're not going to be as enthusiastic, or you're not going to be so certain. Yeah. Do you guys know what arsenal means?
Like a weapon?
Yeah. But arsenal is not just weapons, but what?
Like
It's very close to weapon.
Like a plan?
No.
Bag of weapons?
What's that?
A bag of
Exactly. Arsenals is basically weapons, multiple weapons. So when he says arsenal, that means, okay, depending on the battle, you may want to use something else.
Like a bunch of ways.
Right? So, okay, for this guy, I'm going to use this. For this situation, I'm going to use that. So you want to have a bunch of arsenal. That means that you want to be able to adapt to each situation, because maybe, a certain type of gun is not best for every battle. Yeah, so you want to have a bunch of different ways to close people, is basically what you're trying to say here. Cool. Thank you, Blanca. All right. Okay, Kalia.
Okay, so it's the same page, 127, it's the same exact one.
Okay.
You must believe in what you're offering is the right thing for the prospect. Well, I like that one because it's kind of goes into the...
Exact same line? Okay.
Yeah,
I was looking for it. Okay.
same
Okay.
line.
That's okay. You can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Well, yeah,
Maybe no one else, okay? Maybe 2 per line.
yeah, so I like that one a lot too because it's true. Like sometimes I don't even believe like, oh, you know what, like this is probably not the best coverage, or this is not the right price. Like when I believe like that, like I don't even get the sale.
Oh, really?
So starting right at when I start doing the quote, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the best coverage, this is the best insurance, and this is gonna be the best rate. And when I believe like that, when I believe it so much, I ended up getting the sale.
Yeah. They could tell, huh? The clients could tell that you believe in it.
Yeah, the way that you say it. The way.
Do some of you guys struggle with believing in it?
No, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking pricey. And then when I tell them, like, okay, that's not bad. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, we could be wrong, sometimes. Right away we think about like the cheap price. And I'm like, oh, this is a lot. But for them, it's probably cheaper because I don't know what they're paying,
Right. And do you think sometimes when you say the price, they could feel it, that you think it's expensive?
Sometimes. Depends how I say it.
I know, yeah.
Sometimes I just throw it out there and like, whatever happens. But now that I know that the rates are a little higher, I try to do that. But before I'm like, oh my God. Or when I know, they told me, oh, I'm paying $130 and I find $184. I'm kind of like scared to tell them like, her price is $184.
Yeah.
I used to feel like that too. Like I used to be scared, but now I'm just like, oh no, this is the price, This is a good rate. Because before I used to be like scared, like, oh my God, I'll be like, oh my God, it's a little bit pricey,
You say that?
Yeah. Like, I would say that. Like now I just be like, oh no, this is how much it would be with this. Farmers.
Yeah, farmers. Yeah, exactly. You gotta sometimes remind them of the brand.
Yeah.
Well, one guy today, I told him, and he's like, oh no, you went way up there. I'm like, well, that's what it is with farmers. And then he was like, I know, huh? You guys must be good if it's that price. I'm like, yes.
There you go. Yeah. So enthusiasm using humor.
Yeah.
You know, again, arsenal. Like, oh, this person, I got to use this one. This situation, I want to use this one. So, yeah. But I think what helps is experience, I think, right?
Yeah.
You guys, like, see a lot of different scenarios. Just having conviction and certainty on your voice. Wow, this person is so sure I should get it. It's kind of like an influence type thing. Like, you really influence people. Like, wow, this person really sounds like I should get it. Maybe I probably should.
Yeah.
That's what selling is, kind of. Okay,
Yeah.
so, all right, cool.
Okay, next.
Okay, Jazz.
You should just go like that.
Mine is easy. Mine's on
Okay.
page.
You guys like that, huh?
On where it says the heart cell.
Sorry, what page?
First page.
Okay.
First page. Okay. So it says it has been said that you have to ask someone. It has been said that you have to ask someone 5 times before you get a yes. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that most people will not buy without someone asking them to. And people will never say yes to someone who quits asking. It has been my experience that the moment you quit asking, the deal is dead. So I like that one because it's true. I've always thought that being a little persistent, I mean, of course not harass people, but being a little persistent and calling them, and even though they already told you that it's kind of pricey, or just like kind of follow up on them, helps you get the sale.
This paragraph is pretty much all about following up, huh? How do you guys feel when it comes to follow-ups?
I mean, trust me, I don't really like doing follow-ups, but the days sometimes it's kind of slow. So I'm like, let me go ahead and just call. Or like when people be like, oh, that sounds, like you can tell when someone's kind of like interested. I will call them a couple of times.
Yeah. They really feel like
And
They're like right on the edge, right? They're
the second day or the third, maybe they'll be like, okay, let's just do it, Or I mean, or sometimes it could be like, no, I already got insurance, but at least they know that maybe at next time they need insurance, they'll call you. So I mean, that's something that I always done.
Can you guys give me an example when like a follow-up got you a sale? Probably a lot, or no?
Yeah.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
How many percent of them are from follow-ups?
What?
How many percent of your sales are from follow-ups?
Probably like,
Probably like 60%, 70%.
Basically everything except for the ones you close in the first call, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably like 25% of the time of your sales. Okay.
especially when they be like, email me the quote. I want to look at it first. And you know that you need to follow up on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then again, talking about Arsenal, that follow-up would be like, hey, did you have a chance to look at my email? I'm trying to remember. Oh, did you have a chance to talk to your wife? Oh, I know your policy is coming up for renewal. Did you have and they said like, oh, I'm going to shop around a couple of companies. Oh, how did the other companies do? So be creative with your follow-ups too, not just like, like you said, you don't want to harass them. So, yeah. But that's what sales is about. You just have to like, be persistent. And I think Jazz, I mean, what about when you first get a Facebook lead? How many times do you guys call them?
I call them all day until they answer
Call
me.
I call like at least like 3 times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Good.
3 times. 'Cause they never answer.
Do you guys do you spread them out throughout the day, or do you call them twice right away, or?
Like in the morning and then after lunch.
Oh, really?
Before I leave.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
And I leave voicemails too.
Yeah. Most of the time, some don't answer.
That's great, but I've been looking at the phone stats, and it's been a lot higher as a team. So a lot of people are making a lot of calls. So I love seeing that because it's just a lot of it is pure effort and persistency and consistency. So great job, ladies. All right. Okay, Lauren.
Mine's at 128. It's like the middle of a paragraph. It says, the more you practice handling objectives, the more natural you'll sound. It's like the grandmother who makes fudge without even looking at the recipe. She has done it so many times over the years that she doesn't need to read over the list of ingredients anymore. She just knows what to do and her fudge comes out perfect every time. It's the same thing with handling objectives and closing deals. There's nothing wrong with learning what you're going to say and how you'll handle certain situations.
Okay.
Like that.
Great. Yeah.
It's just kind of like if they come at you with something, you already have a response ready for what they're gonna have thrown at you. You know?
Can you give us an example of what has worked for you, like a common one in what you say?
Like a recent one, I just had one with like a commercial one.
Okay.
That he was like, well, I don't know, it's a little bit pricey, and I was like, well, I mean, it's better to have your business insured than not insured.
Okay.
Because they're gonna go after you.
Uh-huh.
You know, like at the end of the day, you do have a business.
Uh-huh. Just reminding them of that.
Yeah, it's not like. And I asked him, "Is this what you do full time?"
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, then you know you need to make sure that you at least have some type of coverage.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't have to get the highest amount, but
Mhm.
even the minimum amount, just to protect yourself.
Mhm. That's a good one. I like to say that a lot too. Hey, something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know, but for business ones, it's really good too because hey, you're reminding them, hey, you're a business owner, and it's like business owners really, well, successful ones at least, really care about their business. It's very important to them. They want to protect
you
it.
ask if it's full time that what they do or part time.
Mhm.
Because if it's part time, then they probably do like once a week or
Right.
twice a week.
It's like a hobby almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the full time, it's like that's their
Livelihood.
That's their
Their
life
income.
job. That's
Right.
their income. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think that could work. Hey, it's kind of pricey. It's like, yeah, you got a nice car. Sometimes I say that, you know, and then kind of switch it to a positive. Like, hey,
I always tell them when they say it, I always ask them, you don't have insurance? And they're like, no, we don't have insurance. And they're like, oh, it's kind of crazy. I'm like, what? It's going to be more expensive if you get pulled over and get a ticket.
okay, wow, good
And
one.
then they'll be like, oh, yeah. Like, well, yeah, it's like $500.
Mhm.
You know, you could pay the full 6 months.
Mhm.
You know, so it depends on the client.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, like I had one that was like, why am I paying so much for this car, like for full coverage? And I'm like, well, I was like, well, remember, I was like, it has all new technologies. I was like, cars before you used to buy them like at 25,000, like a truck, like this one. And then now trucks, you're not gonna get them any less than 40,000. She's like, yeah, that's what I paid. I paid 40,000.
Yeah.
Like, so she like agreed with me.
Right.
You know, like yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah.
the Toyota Tacoma before used to get it for 25,000. Now they have so many upgrades that they're no less than $38,000, $40,000.
Mhm.
You know, so I like reminded her,
Mhm.
you know, this is, and she's like, yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
You know, so she agreed, like, oh.
Good one. Yeah. So all these information against building your arsenal. You guys want to build it up too, you know, like and have so many like comebacks basically to the objections. So yeah, way to practice them, and it's really great. I feel like when they share, you know, what's worked for them, and I think that's part of the great part about these meetings is that we can learn from the people that are selling well, that have experience, years and years of experience, and see what they're saying. Cool. Yeah, because you're just gonna know, you know, with experience, if this happens, I'm gonna do this. If this happens, so that's what comes to practice. So that's the key word there is professional. You know. So when you guys think of professional, what else do you guys think? Who are professionals?
People that just seem natural.
Natural. Okay.
Natural, like a natural in that area.
Mhm.
Like it's nothing for them.
Mhm. What type of people are professionals characterized as? Talented or skill. Okay. Like professional athletes, right? It's a common one. Professional pilots, like that's their profession. So these are people that practice hours and hours at their craft.
You know, like patience, being patient, I think.
Being patient, yeah, or just experienced.
Yeah, somebody that's, like, let's say the client's already being very negative,
Mhm.
you could get easily frustrated. You
Mhm.
know? So I think, like, just being patient
Mhm.
helps,
Mhm.
you know, where they don't feel rushed, like, okay, bye,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so professionals, okay, like baseball players, basketball players, football players, they're doing the same thing over and over again, but different scenarios, okay? If this pitch comes, I'm going to not hit it. If this pitch comes, I'm going to hit it. Or if the ball comes this way, I'm going to do this. So they know every situation they're in, how they're going to act.
Even like now, before they wouldn't do this, but now if you actually watch a baseball game, they have a little card that they hold in their pocket
Mhm.
that shows them each batter's like hitting ratio, like where they hit.
Mhm.
So that's why they shift, or they'll come in, or they'll go out, because they know like, okay, this hitter hits more to the right, so you see all the players shift to the right. And then they go to the left, they shift to the left.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And if it even gets down to 2 strikes, then they'll even change that,
Yeah.
the count.
the
So not only the player, but the count too.
Yeah.
So if it's 2 strikes, they're probably not going to be as aggressive, so they step in 1 step. So there's so many different
No, why
scenarios.
do they like move around?
Yeah.
So there it goes.
So a lot,
There's different
data.
balls that they throw, and then they study like where the players are weak. Like, okay, I can throw this ball and they're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna go for it, even though it's gonna be a ball, but they'll still go for it.
Mhm.
So
And why are they doing all that?
To win.
To win, right? And that's what business is. Like, we want to win. So we want to take our time, study the competition, study, you know, like different companies have services. You guys know how AAA has service fees. We don't if it's EFT now. Okay, know the competition, know what we're talking about, know the coverages. So doing a lot of studying and being a professional is what's going to help us win. All right, cool. All right, Marisol, okay. You got first.
So mine is on page 129.
Mm-hmm.
It's the third paragraph down and it starts videotape. So videotape yourself and perfect your techniques. I recorded myself every day and watched my gestures, my hand motions, and even my emotional responses. Throughout the day, I write down all of the objections I heard, and the next day I team up with another associate and we practice handling them until I was satisfied.
Okay.
I like this because I feel like it's true. Like, even with anything that you want to do, you have to practice. And I feel like you're not, like, you have to come up, like, you have to look confident and feel confident. And I think practice is going to kind of make you feel that way. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I like that a lot because I do that a lot.
Yeah, what are you practicing?
When it comes to interviews, I'll stand in front of the mirror and practice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, what type of interviews?
Like any type of interviews, like job interviews in the past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll like practice like what they're gonna tell me, what I'm gonna say, all that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I get really nervous with interviews.
Yeah, but interviews or any type of situation where you have to act out on stuff.
Yeah.
Like the acting also. Probably got nervous
Yeah.
for some of our stories, but she's that's also practice too. So different things. For me too, like talking in front of people or doing like conferences and stuff like that. In the beginning, it's just realistic. You're not going to be as good.
Yeah.
But understanding that trying and practicing is what makes you better.
And
So,
if you come off confident, like just even through the phone, like you can tell with like your voice. If you're not confident, they're not gonna believe that you're confident. They're not gonna believe what you're telling them too.
Yeah. So yeah, practice makes confidence, and confidence gets results. So yeah, that's a good. That's something that's worked in everything almost. All right, Arlen, what you got for us?
Mine's on 127. It's that second paragraph.
Okay.
And it says, if you don't truly believe that your product will somehow bring the buyer more enjoyment, benefit, or security than the numbers he has in the bank, then you'll never be a great salesperson and you'll never fully understand the concept of hard sell. If you really believe and learn how to close, you'll know someday what it means to hard sell. It is an art form.
Okay, great. I like that paragraph too.
Yeah, so I like this one just because, like, when I'm quoting and, like, they say, like, oh, I want the cheapest one or whatever, I always add uninsured motorists, and they'll be like, well, do I really need that? And then I'll just tell them, like, well, it's going to benefit you. If somebody hits you and they don't have insurance, then you're covered. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, and then I'll be like, well, where you live, there's a lot of people. Like, imagine how people are driving without insurance. They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, make them think about it a little bit, Because sometimes they're only thinking about price only. Sometimes they're only thinking about, cheap price is the best. But yeah, letting them know how it benefits them is key. What do you guys think about this whole chapter as far as like, it's not, the author's not saying be pushy, but he is more aggressive than probably our style too. Do you think as a team we have a pretty good level of pushiness, or do you think we could step it up a little bit? Or what do you guys think?
I think we have a pretty good level because it's a different type of business that he's running. And then I feel like we kind of know with each client, we feel it.
Right.
Like I know what client I can push it and
Right.
what client's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to hang up on me, not answer my calls.
Right.
Or somebody that's going to put a bad review of me or complain to you. So I kind of know where. Especially I come from somewhere where you have to be aggressive, like persistent.
They really taught you that, right? Trained you that, yeah.
So then for here, I feel like I know what client I could do it with and what client I shouldn't. And I actually feel like emailing and all that stuff, when they're interested, they're going to be calling me back or asking me questions. So I feel like I hear them also, I feel like we are in a
good level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I do see here Blanca and I hear more Blanca because you're far, but I hear them doing callbacks, so I could know that I feel like we are.
I think the most important point you said there is that we know how to treat each person, right? Because it's just not like everything works for everybody, you know. So it's not like we gotta be pushy for every single person. But some people, they're a little hesitant, or they just are not good at making decisions. You know, they just need like a little push because that's just their personality. There's like indecisive people out there, like, oh, what should I do? I don't know what to do. Like, you know. So I'm afraid they're gonna rip me off if I do it over the phone. Like, you never know. And some people, you don't need that push. You know, you're already kind of like, or you know, if pushing them wouldn't work. So really knowing your person, adjusting to that, I think that's the key one. But in general, I think the most important thing is let's be persistent as far as calling them, following up, sending out emails and stuff like that, making sure they know that we want them. Because if you just do a call, that's it, and then don't email or don't follow up and stuff like that, then your numbers aren't going to be as good as someone who is. All right, Kathy, your turn.
Mine's on page 129, the third paragraph.
Okay.
It's basically the one that she just read. But this paragraph reminded me of myself because I'm always on the phone, but sometimes I'm on the phone talking so much that the screen turns off. It has like a really fast timer, so it's always turning off. And I see my reflection, and it's like a mirror. And I've noticed since a long time ago that I'm most of like a hand gesture person, even though no one's in front of me. I always go like, you know, like this and that. So sometimes by looking at myself, I notice that I'm like slouching, so I go like this, and I just sound more like, you know, that I know what I'm talking about and more confident. So that's one of the things. Since I know that I'm that type of person, I want to work on that and make sure, like, you know that I'm always like, you know, not slouching or just like even looking serious. I feel like I know what I'm talking about instead of like, you know, looking down, and that does help. So I like that paragraph.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. It's so important to be self-aware. You know, like know yourself. Like people just don't study themselves even. You know, so it's like you don't know, and if you're not actually studying yourself, then you don't know where to improve. So really looking at yourself, like, oh, at this point of my game, I need to improve here. Or if I do this, I could get sales. If I do this, then it's bad customer service experience. Or if I eat this, or if I sleep this much, like everything is like you gotta like always like be like kind of like critiquing yourself, you know. Always looking at yourself, like kind of like how you're always looking at your bank account, like always look at what you need to get better at. So yeah, it's a really good one, Kathy. And I think we have a lot of videos here. We're really big believers in that. So if you guys ever want to like record yourself, hear it, I could do that too. There's a lot of different things, but just subconsciously, at least always be thinking like, oh, how am I sounding today? Did I say that right? Or, you know, even posture, great one. Because it does make a difference.
I sit up when there's a quote.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll get, well, I like sitting different ways, but like I'll cross my legs and I'll sit like up.
Oh, right. And when it's customer service, you're like this?
I think that's every too, because when I get a quote, so like I'll like.
I could tell them. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, next time I'll
I
look
like
at
to
you.
push
I'm
my
like,
chair all the way up.
I'm ready.
that's funny.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
you
so
like just
funny.
chirp up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, whatever works, okay? Whatever works. And everyone's different too. So whatever works for you. Okay? All right, Yi-chan, what do you have for us?
Mine's mine's page 128.
Okay.
It's kind of exactly the same as Laura.
Mm-hmm.
The more you practice handling objections, the more natural you sound.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I experience more sales and all that stuff. Like I know what to say. So like Japanese people usually they don't complain about price or anything, but they have so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I learn more, like I could like answer like all the questions, and I feel like they feel like comfortable, so I can close the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like more experience makes me more kind of I know how to close the deal.
Yeah, because a lot of times the questions start becoming repetitive, right? There's only so much they could say. I mean, every once in a while, you know, Laura, yeah, you might be like, wow, this is a new one, like you're like surprised. Yeah, but I mean, 90% of the time, it's like, oh, I know how to. Like you even know they're gonna ask you even before they do. So this is where experience helps. That's why activity level helps. Okay, that's why if you're doing follow-ups and you're getting in sales situations, if you're cross-selling, not even like if you don't even sell, at least if you're quoting, you're just getting better from that. Okay, so just get the activity level, raising it up, and getting your experience level up is something that's going to help us in the long term. And that's why people who've been doing one job for a long time, that's why they get better and better at it. All right, great. Let's see if we missed anything that was really good here that I have. Yes. Yeah. We'll talk to her about that.
What lady is that?
Yeah, it's a situation where
There's this part of the chapter that it's this. I mean, it's not for here, but it was kind of like where we were at our last job, where it says that you can't close the deal by standing up. Like you have to welcome the person in and have them actually sit down. Because when we were when we would work for Freeway, that's the only way that they were like involved in your conversation. You know, when they were actually sitting down in front of you.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
So that helps. I mean, even when a client comes in, like how we pull the chairs, like ask them to sit down. Like I think it's more like welcoming to the client.
Yeah, and same eye level
Yeah,
too.
the same eye level. Yeah.
And sometimes some salespeople do the mistake of like they have some person, the client's sitting down, but they're standing up,
Yeah.
and that's not a good
Always, if there
either.
was a couple, you need to approach the wife first.
The wife first.
Oh, yeah?
Do not look at the husband first. So I was always nervous when because you have to be dressed up. So it's like, and then somebody comes in and the wife's not dressed up, you have to like, her, you know? Because
Like
if you
sell the
look
wife,
at him
like sell the wife
and not the
first.
wife, the wife could be like, no, let's go.
So like no flirting and stuff.
No, right?
You have to know how to like sell the
Crazy
wife.
girls out there,
Yeah.
They get
Yeah.
Especially in North Long Beach, hell yeah.
Yeah.
They're about to shoot you.
Yeah.
No, like the time that I had that commercial client come in with his wife, I was talking to mainly like to his wife. You know,
Yeah.
and then like kind of. Like I kind of started like bringing up a conversation like, oh, how many kids do you guys have? You know, like, oh yeah, that's cute. You
Making
know?
sure she likes you.
Yeah, make sure she likes me.
Because the woman is the one that got
Makes a decision, you know, because what if she's like, oh, I didn't like, because I know because like even when you go out to a restaurant like with your husband or your significant other or whatever, you can tell when a girl's catering to the guy and not to you. Like you can, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
And a lot girls tend to do that more than a guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then you're
That's
kind of
good
like,
training.
okay, like I'm your dude, like.
I want water too.
Yeah. Like refill him, not me. That's what I'm saying. Like that you can tell. So I feel like when in any type of scenario, like if it's a girl salesperson, they're going to address the girl first, or like both as a couple instead of just like singling just that person out.
Right. What about when you guys do quotes over the phone and it's the wife's involved and the husband's like, hey, I want to talk to, I gotta talk to my wife.
Oh, I say like, oh, if you have my direct line, like if your wife has any questions, you guys can both give me a call, or she can give me a call, and then.
Do they actually call or not really?
Sometimes.
They do.
I mean, if they're interested.
And then they're like in the background.
Yeah, they're
talking,
interested.
like,
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I can hear like the whisper, like.
Especially when the guy, the wife's talking, like getting the quote, because a lot of Mexican men do not like calling. They put the wife.
The wife.
Oh, really?
And then you could hear
That's
him
better
in the
for
back
us.
asking like, ¿qué cobertura es? And I'm like, I was like, yo lo oí, I heard what he asked, and then I'll just tell him.
Okay. I think it's just. I think it's good to just address it.
Yeah.
Just address the fact that they both have questions, you know, like, and then you're willing to like talk to both of them. But always like being considerate of the second person decision maker, I think is helpful.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like both.
They both need a
They
decision.
both of their bills technically.
Right.
And you don't know how they handle like their money situation. Like.
Exactly. And if you're only selling one, but the other person is not sold, then you're not getting that sale either. Depending on the different couples, some couples, one person makes a decision. But yeah, if they are addressing that concern, then you definitely want to probably talk to them too, if possible.
Yeah, because I've had clients that call and get a quote, like it's a guy, and he's like, oh, well, I don't know, my wife handles all this.
Oh, okay.
Or girls sometimes.
Yeah, or
say
like,
that.
oh, my husband can yeah, he just told me to call.
Get a quote.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just saying that, but sometimes it's true. So sometimes when you do it, you got to remember that and be like, okay, so when can I talk to your wife?
No, and it is true because Alex doesn't do shit. I do everything. He's like, can you call? Can you call? And it's annoying. I'm like, dude, you can't call yourself. Like, shit. Like, you're already off of work. Like, you call, you know?
You got
But-
it off too.
Yeah. But he's always like, oh, can you call? I'm like, oh my God, you do it.
I wonder
Like,
why they don't
it-
like calling.
It's like, Alex is not like a very communicative person. Like, he doesn't, like,
A lot of places have chat now, though.
yeah, but he,
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't know what to ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, even yesterday, like, he could have gone by himself, but he wanted me to go because he knew that I had questions.
Okay.
So when we were there, like, I was the one asking questions, but he wasn't asking any questions. And I'm like, you need to ask a question.
Be like, hey,
Like,
you got any
hello,
questions?
like, ask a question, like, or ask about anything, you know? And I was the one that was like, okay, so, you know, so what's gonna happen, like, for stuff that you said was like a safety hazard? Oh, that's a good question, you know, like, and I'm like, and then I was like, you just have to know what you're asking so that they know what you're talking about. So they don't feel like, oh, this person's stupid, or they're not asking any questions at all, you know? So he's just not a type of, like, even if he has a question, I think he's very hesitant to, like, speak out. So, like, he'll tell me, like, oh, can you ask this and this? I'm like, oh my God, like, how come you didn't do it, you know? Like,
But that just
some
shows
people
you
are like that.
there's just
Yeah.
there's just so many range of people.
Yeah.
There's so many different types of people.
So what I liked about this chapter, it was just, you know, like just knowing what to say to the people whenever they throw like a curveball at you. I like the fact that he said that he would practice with another person and practice until he got it right, because you know, it's happened to me too, like before in previous experiences where they're like no, and then I'm like okay, you know, and it's like I don't really push it. So that's, I mean, I liked everything about the chapter, but you know, just a reassurance of really knowing what you are selling, really believing in it, and being able to just, you know, handle any kind of objection.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about. It's a good summary right there. So you really understand the concept of the chapter. So some of the things we're talked about is like being adaptive to each situation. So one of the favorite lines for a lot of people was having an arsenal. So different objection. An arsenal means weapons, right? So meaning that, hey, if they say this, I'm going to use this weapon. If they say that, I'm going to use this weapon. And being adaptable. And certain people you got to be a little bit more certain about, a little bit more enthusiastic, because they might be indecisive people. Some people are quiet people. We just talked about, Laura talked about, you know, certain people don't want to ask questions or very quiet in a situation like just being able to adapt to every different situation, but at the same time being persistent, following up, and you know, so those are some of the things we talked about. So yeah, you guys got it. All right, cool. So before we end this meeting, couple things I just want to talk to you guys about. Well, first we have some good news. I'm not sure if everybody knows. Okay.
On the missing document?
No, we'll talk about that too. But this is like just separate. But yeah, Laura went into escrow.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's some of you guys knew that.
yeah.
Obviously, and some of you guys didn't know. So June 24th, right? So yeah, that's a huge accomplishment, right? You know. Yeah, every time I almost seem like I always ask that question about like what's your goals, you know, when doing reviews or interviews too, and like, you know, 90% of people is buying a house, and that's not an easy thing to do in Southern California. You know, just the amount of time it takes to build up, you know, a steady income, and then also not only that, but be able to afford a monthly payment, but also be able to put down a down payment. There's a lot of moving factors there, so a lot of discipline involved and a lot of long-term thinking involved. So it's not something that you could just do one day. It's like something you have to be thinking. Like if you want to buy a house in like 5-10 years, you got to start now, thinking about it now. So it's always great to see people accomplish long-term goals. So I'm very happy to see that, and very proud of her for this accomplishment for her and Alex, because it's obviously a teamwork thing when it comes to like doing something like that. You can't do it by yourself. So yeah, congratulations. So Ali, a good point. We're going to talk about paperwork.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I like the teamwork. Okay, Marisol's texting them. You know, Sylvia and Kathy are very involved. They're getting bombarded. I want them to be bombarded. Talk about hard sell. We're going to pressure them like crazy. Joe's helping us with some of the documents too. So I love the teamwork we have right now. Okay, everyone's on the same page. Everyone is very aware of how important this is. We're not making changes anymore before we're getting them. So we know now at least. It's just a matter of time, I feel like. Now I want to add a little bit of strategy because I've been thinking and I've been hearing that okay, a lot of times we're telling them what your policy will cancel if you don't, like when you sell it, right? When you first sell them, hey, your policy will cancel if you don't get it, right? And I feel like that's good, but to some people, like if you sell like a small renter's insurance, they don't even care almost. Well, I got it from my apartment, okay? Or for auto insurance, I don't know if they really, like, I'm not sure if that's scary enough for them. Well, I'll just get it somewhere else.
I say if we don't get, I said we need this paperwork back just in case you get involved into an accident.
Okay,
Like the claim department is going to ask us for your documents.
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about, that's a good one,
Because
but
they do ask for it.
they do. I was thinking, okay, hey, so I gave you some discounts on the policy. You could say whatever. Okay, I gave you the low mileage discount. There's some discounts on this policy, but if you don't get your documents back, then your monthly payments will adjust. Your discounts will fall off,
Okay.
right?
Because I feel sometimes when you do tell them, like, wasn't it canceled? Like, oh, just get somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Especially when they feel like $50 to start.
Yeah, they're like, okay, cool. Like, at least I try. Like, or at least they'll be like, I got my proof of insurance card for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe that might work. So let's try that. Hey, we got your discount. I applied a lot of discounts for you because I gave you the best price possible. I want to make sure they stay on there, so I got to have you to sign these documents because if you don't, your next monthly payment is not going to be $225 like I said. Right? A lot of people, it's what's in it for them, and they don't want to see like they're on automatic payments. They're like, oh, my monthly payment's higher. Well, that's not going to happen. But if you paint that picture, maybe we'll have a better chance of getting these documents back right away. Okay. What about for homes? Same thing. We got discounts on your homes. Renter's insurance. Sometimes if you cross summer renters, hey, I got to get that document back. And once I get it back, I can lower your auto. You guys be creative, but I kind of want the pricing to be more important than it's going to cancel. Okay, so let's try that. It's going to take some time, but yeah, we're all on the same team here. Yuchan scanning in right away, so it's a team effort. So yeah, I'm really liking the teamwork effort that we're putting in here. All right, girls? All right, thank you. Hey, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe. And then stay tuned for more future videos to help you grow your insurance agency. And also comment below and let me know what you think. Until next time, thank you.